My name is John Badger, co-founder and vice president of marketing and product here at ShareVault. And today we're going to take a look at how a good virtual data room can speed the process of due diligence and how making the wrong choice for how you share documents during due diligence can slow things down considerably. This presentation will take less than 30 minutes total. Your audio is muted to avoid background noise, so if you have a question, please type it into the question box and we'll answer it at the end. You will receive an email from us in a few days when the webinar recording is available. First, a bit of background on ShareVault. We launched ShareVault in 2006, and since then, we've become a leading virtual data room provider with over 75,000 users and with customers in over 43 countries worldwide. Our platform is known for combining bank-grade security features with a speedy, responsive, and easy-to-use user interface. Our outstanding customer support team is available 24/7 to assist you with any questions that you or your end users might have. ShareVault has been used for due diligence in tens of billions of dollars worth of deals, including acquisitions, mergers, venture financings, private placements, IPOs, and biopharma partnering deals. Here are just a few examples, tombstones from transactions that were done using ShareVault for due diligence. For one of our M&A Best Practices webinars, we partnered with David Stastny, co-founder and managing director of Centaur Partners, a boutique investment bank specializing in technology M&A. Here's what David has to say about the speed of due diligence. During the due diligence process, time is not your friend. The longer the due diligence process stretches out, the higher the probability that concerns will arise and purchase price adjustments will occur. And he has plenty of war stories to back that up. The take home here is that you should do everything that you can do to speed the due diligence process, including, of course, using the right tool to share your due diligence materials. This is an important decision, so be sure not to skimp. The good news is that ShareVault is not only the best choice you can make to speed your due diligence process, it's also very affordable. When it comes time for due diligence, you've got a variety of choices for how to share the due diligence materials with your potential acquirers, partners, investors, or bidders. You can use physical media such as DVD or USB flash drive, email attachments, FTP or file transfer protocol, which can be set up by your IT department, generic file sharing systems such as Box, Dropbox, and Google Drive, physical data rooms, which are less and less prevalent but still used occasionally, or virtual data rooms, also known as VDRs or just data rooms, which are really made for the job and which provide a great degree of security and document organization that you're just not going to get from these other solutions. Unfortunately, most data rooms are just painfully slow, clunky, and hard to use. So let's take a moment to find out from you, the audience, which tools that you use for due diligence. So I'm going to launch here a little survey, poll, and it should be appearing on your screen now. So if you could go ahead and respond to that, that'll help us kind of know where you are in terms of using alternatives to virtual data rooms or using virtual data rooms themselves. Okay, looks like we've got some responses coming in. Still coming in. Oh, we've got a good spread here. Interesting. Looks like a good number of you have used email attachments for due diligence activity. So actually, I'm going to go ahead and close the poll now. It looks like most people have gone ahead and submitted their responses. So I'm going to go ahead and close it. and I'm going to share the results with everybody. And actually, this is not that typical. It's great to see that a lot of people here don't have experience with virtual data rooms, so that's good to know. And so let's find out how a virtual data room can actually accelerate the process of due diligence, the right kind of virtual data room, of course. So I'm going to go ahead and hide these results and continue with the presentation. So where were we? Okay, so let's talk about one major advantage. A full-featured data room like ShareVault can be used to speed up the due diligence process. And in just a moment, I'm actually going to switch over to the ShareVault web app to show you live how ShareVault accelerates due diligence. First of all, you'll need to create your due diligence list, the index, to organize your materials. Some of our customers have their due diligence materials in a folder structure already, and they just want to upload it while preserving that structure. For that, we have our drag and drop publishing feature that allows you to rapidly create a mirror image of your folder structure within ShareVault. Other customers want to use ShareVault to organize their content according to a due diligence list provided by their investment banker, law firm, or in some cases by the potential buyer or buyers. Most of our customers are actually a blend of these two cases. For example, the CFO often has his or her materials, corporate documents and so on, in a structured folder system, maybe on a shared drive within the company, that he or she wants to upload into ShareVault, while other departments, that need to provide some of the important due diligence materials, might need to provide that kind of on an on-demand basis based on the elements in the due diligence list. ShareVault has tools for both of these cases. Good organization of your due diligence content is actually a very important aspect of rapid accelerating the document review process, because people conducting the due diligence can move more quickly through a due diligence data room where everything is well organized. Another important aspect is easy and efficient user management. So an efficient tool for user and group management is needed so that you can quickly and easily create users and groups with proper access privileges. The ShareVault Users and Groups page minimizes the amount of clicking and makes it easy to administer your users, including a batch mode so that you can just copy and paste the email addresses of many, in fact all of your end users, to rapidly invite them in just seconds. In fact, ShareVault has batch-level features throughout, which makes it quick and easy to make major changes to organization, permissioning, or settings with just a few clicks. This is of particular importance when you decide to make changes to your data room. Our customers love this aspect of ShareVault and tell us stories of how with other clunkier data rooms, it can be easier to just start over rather than make major changes to the existing data room. Because of the amount of clicking involved in making major changes. And then there's the ShareVault hierarchical tags. ShareVault is the only solution of its kind that uses tags instead of folders to organize content. Tags are a lot like folders. In fact, if you're used to using Gmail, you'll know exactly what we mean by that. But they're much more flexible because you can put multiple tags on the same document. This has numerous applications in due diligence because often the same document, let's say a consolidated financial spreadsheet, can be the appropriate document for responding to multiple due diligence list items. Another advantage of tags comes from the fact that companies are often bought, not sold. So let me dive into what I mean by that. This means your initial due diligence list might come from the corp dev department of the company that approaches you. Okay, so you didn't put your company on block to sell it. Somebody approached you, and their corp dev department gave you a due diligence list. That due diligence list might not be the best way to present your company's materials, but they'll push you hard to use it. And as you know, when a company approaches to buy you, the best approach is to get other buyers, other potential buyers, lined up to create a competition type scenario, and thereby increase valuation. An investment banker can, of course, help with this. In this case, it can often be appropriate to use a different due diligence list for the other potential buyers. With any other folder-based solution, you need to basically create an entire new data room to achieve this, which is usually impractical. But with ShareVault, you can create two separate tag structures, permissioned separately, so that when an end user logs in, he or she will see only the appropriate structure. All the content is shared between the two structures. So let's pop over to ShareVault to take you through the points that I've just made on screen. All right, so let's hop over to ShareVault. Let's get back. All right, so I'm currently on the Documents page, and as you can see, let me get to the normal status here. Let's see here. I'm going to go ahead and log out and log back in. I'll go into Acme Inc. So I just selected the ShareVault that I'd like to go into. And as you can see, I think the reason that it did that is because just a moment ago before the presentation, I was logged into a different data room. So, so basically, you can see here that the content is organized by tags. And as I mentioned before, tags are a lot like folders. So in other words, if I click on a particular tag, it's going to open the contents of that tag and display it here. But I can put multiple documents on the same tag. So let me go ahead and show what I was talking about regarding how to publish an existing folder structure into ShareVault. And before I do that, let me show how this can drill down and drill down and drill down. So it's basically, hierarchical tags which behave a lot like folders. So if I just want to see my 2012 audited financials, it will show that. And notice that there's a nice thumbnail that allows me to view each document without even opening it. Now we're going to take another look at this structure in a minute as when we log in as an end user. But right now I'm an administrator, so I'm going to go ahead and do a publish. So I'll click here on publish, and it brings up the publishing window. And as you can see, all I have to do is drag and drop files. So I'll go ahead and switch over to my desktop and grab this folder called Due Diligence Updates. And basically, it's replicated that structure that I just dragged and dropped. And I can take this structure, and let's say I want to put it at the very bottom here. So I drag my documents right here where it says secondary due diligence, put it underneath that. And I've just dragged and dropped and applied the appropriate tags to all the documents. And now all I have to do is hit publish, and it recreates that structure. So it's very quick and easy to create a mirror image of your document structure that's on your disk drive within ShareVault. And so here it's confirming that everything's been published. I hit OK, and then if I come down here and click on Due Diligence Updates, it's showing the updated documents that I just published. Okay, so that's as easy as it is to create not only the to upload the files, but to create the structure. So now let's cover the other scenario that I talked about, where a due diligence structure has been provided by, let's say, your investment banker, and I would like to get that structure into ShareVault. So I've got this tag here called secondary due diligence, and I'm going to go ahead and flip over to Excel. All right, so by the way, I'm on a Mac here, but this obviously works just fine on a PC as well. So this is a hierarchical list. Let's say it was provided to me by my investment bank, and I just select the tags that I would like to import, and some of these tags have descriptions. Okay, so all I have to do is copy this structure, and I'll switch back over to ShareVault. Let's say I want to put it underneath this, so I just go into Edit Tags mode, and I hit this Add Tag button, Add New Tag here, and it gives me the ability to type in a new tag. In fact, I could I could just go like this, tag 1, tag 2. You can see how quick and easy it is to go ahead and add tags kind of on the fly. The other thing I can do is just hit paste, because remember I just copied from that spreadsheet. And look what happens. It detects that I have decided to import a hierarchical list. It shows me how that list is going to be numbered. It has over here the tag descriptions that were in that other column. And all I have to do is hit this Create Tags button, and it's adding the tags to the existing structure. And so I have my secondary due diligence. Looks like I probably have to hit refresh. And you can see these tags here that were imported from Excel. So basically, in a few seconds, I've created this large hierarchical structure. Of course, the structure could be much larger in a real situation in just a few seconds. So again, lots of features within ShareVault that really avoid a lot of clicking and make it quick and easy to set up and organize your content so you can accelerate the preparation for due diligence. So now let's go ahead and talk about what you can do to reorganize documents once you're up and running. So you notice that the tags are automatically numbered. Well, I can just drag and drop. If I decide that I want to put my corporate, my financials above my corporate documents, I just drag and drop, and it renumbers everything accordingly. And it only took a second, right? So it's very powerful. I'm going to actually put this up here, and you can actually, that's because there's already a section called financials at the top level that failed. So you can see how quick and easy it is to reorganize your tag structure. In addition, it's quick and easy to take a document and put it in multiple locations. So let's say I want to take this document and put it under the tag information technology under relationships. So I just drag this document onto relationships, and now that document is going to receive 2 tags. So if I click on it, it's got 2 tags, and you can see the 2 different locations it'll show up in. So that's how quick and easy it is to kind of administer the organization of ShareVault. Now, another important aspect that I mentioned in terms of preparing for due diligence is the users and groups page, how important that is. So let's go to the users and groups page. The way that works is over here on the left, I have a list of different users, and I can see by expanding the user what groups that user belongs to. And then over here, I can find out for each group what the names of the different members of the group are. If I want to add a user to a group, it's just simply a matter of dragging and dropping to make that happen. So I can just drag this Patrice Leroy and put him under advisors, and he's added to this group. So it's very easy to set that up. And you'll notice that this user is now a member of both of these groups. In terms of permissioning, it's very quick and easy to set permissions on a group. So I'll just select this group called, advisors, and I'll go to the permissions. And you can see that I can set permissions. Let's say that I've decided that I actually don't want to allow access to marketing and pricing. So I uncheck that. Let's say I do want them to be able to take a look at this section called warranties. I check that, and then I decide that I want to allow them to print, so I can set the policy here. Okay. Now, large data rooms can, have quite a number of sections and subsections. So how can I do this quickly? Well, ShareVault has batch features built in throughout the user interface. So let me give you an example of how a batch feature has been implemented here. Let's say I select operations, and now I'm going to hold down my shift key just like you would, in Excel. Let me give myself some more headroom here, so I just drag that up. And I'm going to select down to here, and it selects everything that's in between. And if I just check one of them, it checks all of them. And then I can change to allow printing, and it happens instantly. So I can do large amounts of operations without lots of clicking. And ShareVault has put a great deal of effort into making sure that our user interface behaves a lot like sort of a desktop application, so it allows you to do lots of changes quickly across the data room. All right, so then I can go ahead and hit apply. But let's say I'm in the middle of a large operation and I get interrupted. This is a really nice feature I'm about to show you that really doesn't exist in any other web application. Due diligence is a very interrupt-driven process. When you're in the process of due diligence, selling your company, it's high intensity, you get interrupted a lot. So if you're in the middle of making a lot of changes and somebody comes into your office with something they want to talk to you about, you know what it's like with any other web app. It times out and it kicks you out to the login page. ShareVault doesn't do that, and it's actually the only web app I'm aware of that doesn't. Instead, what it does is the following, and I'm going to emulate it. When it times out, basically, if I hold down a special key, the logout button turns into a lock button that emulates what I'm about to show you. When it times out, it basically just puts a black curtain over your screen, and that provides the same degree of security as a session timeout that kicks you out to the login page. And the reason they do that is you've got your very sensitive documents. The reason a web app or a banking app does that is to make sure that after you've logged in, your session expires, because if it stays open forever, somebody who gets a hold of the computer, let's say you've logged in a hotel log, something like that, could easily view your documents. So you want a system that has that timeout feature, but what we've done is made it convenient. Once the timeout occurs, all you have to do is put back in your password, and the black curtain lifts, and you are exactly where you were before you left off. So that's, again, another feature that ShareVault has basically implemented to make sure that due diligence preparation goes quickly and smoothly without interruption. Okay, so let me switch back to the slides and talk about how some of the important, so basically we just covered this aspect of handling interruptions without losing time as you're preparing to launch your data room. And by the way, that advantage also helps your end users. If they're in the middle of reviewing some document that's buried deep within your due diligence list, when they come back and the black screen is lifted, they'll find themselves exactly where they left off in due diligence. So let's talk about additional ways in which ShareVault helps accelerate the actual process of due diligence. Well, first of all, we've implemented something called infinite scrolling. So actually, throughout ShareVault, we have the ability to do fast and smooth scrolling. Many people complain about other data rooms having kind of a hunt and peck type functionality, where you really have to, take a lot of clicks to find what you're looking for. And within ShareVault, you allow for fast scrolling, and so we're going to show you what we mean by that. But one of the things that to keep in mind is that you can skim content, and rapidly reviewing a lot of content involves skimming. In fact, anybody who's studied speed reading understands the importance of skimming. But skimming only works if you can scroll quickly. So that's actually a very important and often overlooked aspect of selecting a good data room for the purpose of rapidly getting through due diligence. The other aspect is, even with rapid scrolling, some people just want to print. And this actually very often, sort of senior lawyers, we find, are people who really just want to be able to print the documents. But the problem is that the data room owner doesn't really want to grant print privileges because it's so easy to just print to PDF. Well, ShareVault has a batched print feature called Secure Print, which allows you to actually prevent printing to PDF. So you maintain control over the original document. You don't allow them to print to PDF, but you do allow them to print paper. And of course, each page of the document is going to be watermarked to identify the user who printed the document. So it's really a nice secure way to share content and allow for printing. Now sometimes you just still don't want to print, and that's fine. That's, you know, ShareVault provides for a policy for every user, and you can decide who's allowed to print and who's not, and which documents they're allowed to print. That's very easy to do. We also, I realize I kind of reversing the order here, but we also allow something called Secure Save, which our batch download feature allows for. And basically that means that your end users can save documents directly to your desktop, but those documents will only be, users will only be allowed to open the document if they're still allowed to. So if the deal goes south and you've decided not to do a deal with a particular party, you can kick those users out of your data, or just depermission certain documents to that user, and then those documents won't open anymore. So it allows you to keep kind of a secure leash on all of your content that you can yank back at any time. And of course, we talked about how important organizing your structure is, the numbered index and the ability to control the order, and providing a nice organized structure for your due diligence it is an acceleration feature that's important for your end users. Also, there's the full text search capability, which allows your end users to find content containing specific keywords rapidly. And then, of course, there's the efficient Q&A capability. ShareVault has, like other full-featured data rooms, has the ability to ask for your end users to ask questions about due diligence content while they're doing the due diligence, and then those questions get routed to you by email, and you can kind of use this nice workflow to make that happen efficiently. So let's jump over and take a look at what that actually looks like. So I'm going to log out as administrator and log back in as an end user. And same data room. So I've got to click through the confidentiality agreement because that's how it's configured. It's very easy to set that up. And then I go in. There's a video tutorial that I can dismiss.
Welcome to ShareVault.
And basically that takes you through how to use ShareVault. But most people don't even need it because it's very, very intuitive to use ShareVault. So let's first illustrate the aspect of rapid infinite scrolling. So here I can scroll through the entire data room, and I'm not poking around from folder to folder. I'm scrolling through everything. As I move through, it's updating and bringing in more results. It's kind of like, those of you who've ever used Pinterest, it's like a Pinterest type web application. Because it's fast, it loads fast, but it allows you to scroll through everything. So no other data room has that capability of continuous scrolling, and it gives you the ability to sort of skim through the entire data room in rapid form, and then kind of peek at documents that are of interest. You can even mark certain documents as favorites, which show up here so you can rapidly find documents that are of particular interest to you. You can also mark tags as favorites, as you can see. So those types of features really help to accelerate due diligence. But let's take a look at some documents that I can click here. It instantly opens within a browser. But if I decide I want to see this document and scroll through it more rapidly, this document here will open in ShareVault Reader, which is a very lightweight document reader, secure document reader. You can see the watermarking, and it scrolls faster than Adobe Reader. It's a very, very lightweight and fast document reader. And again, it's secure. It prevents, I'm trying to copy this word, it doesn't let me. In this case, I'm allowed to print this document, but it won't print. I've got a PDF print driver here. It's not loading that. So it's a very secure way to allow for printing. The other thing that's important is that I come here and go into, let's say, this information technology section, select that, and then select all the documents in that section, I have the ability to download the entire structure into a zip file, and those will be those protected type documents will only open if I still have the right to. Or I can do, if I have the right to, I can print in a batch mode and make myself a little custom booklet, including a table of contents and separator pages, and that'll, be something I could, for example, review on the airplane. It's very useful, like I said, for senior legal due diligence professionals, or also for senior executives who might not want to view documents on screen. Okay, so the other aspect is the search feature. So let's say I want to find all the documents that contain the word liability. I search for liability, and it highlights all the occurrences of the word liability, and it's very, very fast. And you can notice that it also picks up the different sort of conjugations of the word liability. The other aspect is Q&A. A user can go ahead and ask questions. By the way, you can just click the question mark icon to ask a question about a specific document, and that basically will start a workflow that you're able to control as your ShareVault administrator to respond to that, or to send that question to subject matter experts. And that requires a little more time to demonstrate, but Q&A can really also be an accelerator to the due diligence process. So what I'm going to do, I realize we're running a little bit over, but let's go ahead and pause for questions. So this is a good time to ask any questions you might have. Okay, I've got a few questions coming in here. It says, are questions asked through Q&A kept private between end user and administrator, or can everyone see the questions? That's a very good question. I encourage you to get a demo from a ShareVault sales professional to sort of dive into the feature of Q&A if that's of interest to you. But the answer is that by default, any question and answer dialogue is private. The Q&A moderator can decide to make a particular Q&A thread visible to others by changing the privacy setting, but the default is that the question is totally private between the user who asked it and then the Q&A moderator. Let's see. Oh, good question here. Is the user interface available in different languages, and if so, which? There's a switch for that on the login page, but there's also one here on the preferences page, and you can see that we have Chinese, English, French, German, and Spanish. But in addition to that, ShareVault has the ability to search within documents for words that are in foreign character sets. So it's actually quite often used in cross-border type applications where those types of functionalities are important. Another question is, can you upload video files into ShareVault? I actually know why that question is being asked, because I know that some virtual data rooms don't support that. But yes, you can upload any file type within ShareVault. Only documents, of course, will be converted to the secure PDF for the types of security features that we provide. But you can upload any document type you want, and anybody who has permission to that document would be able. Sorry, you can upload any file type, including videos, and anybody who has access to that would be able to view it. Let's see here, and I think we have time to take this one last question. Which browsers does ShareVault support, and does it work on Mac? This demo has actually been given from a Mac, so yes, it does work quite well on Mac. We support all major browsers, including IE on Windows, and of course Firefox and Google Chrome on both Mac and PC. We also support Safari on Mac. Okay, well, thank you very much, folks, for joining us for this webcast. It was a pleasure to spend some time with you online today, and sorry if I ran a few minutes over, but hopefully that was informative to you. And make sure to follow up with with a member of our sales team here at ShareVault to tee up a demonstration if you'd like to learn more details regarding Q&A or our powerful reporting capabilities or anything else that is built into ShareVault. Thank you very much. Okay.